Welcome to another deep dive with us. This time, we're going to explore some of the more subtle aspects of English. Those idioms and phrases
Yes.
that can really add a lot of character to your language.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these are the kind of expressions that really separate someone who knows English from someone who really gets it.
Absolutely. I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's jump right in.
Okay.
First up, we have the idiom in the nick of time.
Oh, yes, a classic.
You know those last-minute escapes or arrivals?
Right.
The hero bursting through the door just as the clock strikes midnight.
Yeah, it's more than just being on time, though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's about hitting that exact moment when it matters most.
Oh, so there's a precision to it.
Yeah, almost like hitting a mark. And actually, that ties back to the origin of the word nick.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
Well, nick goes back to the 16th century.
Okay.
And back then, it meant like a small cut or a precise mark.
Mm-hmm.
So think about a skilled craftsperson, making that tiny perfect notch on their work.
Okay.
In the nick of time carries that same feeling of hitting the mark precisely when needed.
So it's not just about speed, but accuracy, too.
Exactly.
Wow.
And to really drive this home, think about how it's used. The paramedics arrived in the nick of time.
Oh, yeah.
That's not just relief. It's the difference between life and death.
Yeah, that's true.
It really emphasizes how crucial that precise moment was.
Wow, I never thought about it like that.
Right. It adds that extra punch.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying they arrived just in time, you're emphasizing the precision.
It's almost like you can hear a clock ticking down to the nick. Okay, so moving on, we have to catch up, which I feel like we're all doing constantly these days.
That's true. To catch up definitely has that sense of urgency built into it.
Yeah.
And it's surprisingly versatile.
Mm-hmm.
It can be used in so many contexts.
Yeah, our source material gives the example of a student catching up on missed schoolwork.
Right, but it goes way beyond just academics, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Think about a friend telling you they need to catch up on world events.
Right.
It's not just about learning what happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's about closing that gap in their knowledge.
Like bridging the divide between what they know and what's considered current.
Exactly.
And I think it can also apply to skills, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like if someone says, I need to catch up on my coding skills, it kind of implies they're falling behind.
Yes, there's a pressure to not just learn, but to reach the same level as others.
Almost like you're in a race, trying desperately to gain ground.
That's a great analogy. I like that.
Okay, shifting gears a bit.
Sure.
Let's talk about a word that might make some people a little nervous. Verbose.
Verbose.
I have to admit, I can be guilty of this one from time to time.
Well, verbose isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
It simply means using more words than necessary.
Okay.
It's like you could be verbose and still captivating.
Right.
Or you could be brief and incredibly dull.
Yeah.
It really all depends on how you use those words.
Yeah. Yeah. Our sources mention a professor known for being verbose.
Ah, yes.
And I can definitely see how that could make lectures hard to follow. But you're right. Sometimes those extra words can paint such a vivid picture.
Absolutely.
It's a delicate balance.
And there's actually a fascinating history to the word.
Oh, is there?
Verbose comes from the Latin verbum,
Okay.
which simply means word.
Mm.
So at its core, verbose is really just about an abundance of words.
Oh, so it's almost like saying someone is word rich.
Though not always in the most efficient way.
Right.
It's about knowing when to be succinct versus when to let your verbosity shine.
I like that, let your verbosity shine.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so last one for this section.
Who's
Let's
that?
unpack to go over.
To go over.
This one feels particularly relevant for our listener, who I know is always eager to learn.
Oh, absolutely. To go over is all about thoroughness.
Mm-hmm.
It's that double checking, that deep dive into the details.
It's that moment before you hit send on an important email and you go over it one last time.
Exactly.
And to be sure.
And it's not limited to writing either.
Right.
Think about a musician going over a difficult passage before performance.
Yeah.
It's about that careful repetition, refining until it's perfect.
Our sources highlight a student going over her essay, which is something I think a lot of people can relate to.
Oh, for sure. And notice the difference between reading and going over.
Yeah.
Going over implies active engagement. You're not just passively absorbing the information.
Yeah.
You're analyzing, looking for errors, making connections.
It's almost like you're meticulously turning each page over in your mind, making sure you haven't missed anything.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah. So for our listeners, Think about how you can apply this, whether it's prepping for a meeting or a test
Right.
or just wanting to master a new skill
Yeah.
to go over is your key to that deeper understanding. Okay, so are we ready to continue our vocabulary journey?
Oh, yeah, let's keep going.
I feel like we've already leveled up our English skills today.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
How these seemingly small expressions can really change how we use and understand language.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's next on our list of linguistic treasures?
Well, let's dive into an idiom I'm sure you've heard before, to cut to the chase.
Oh, cut to the chase. I love that one.
It's a good one.
It's all about getting straight to the point.
Right. No detours, no fluff.
Yeah, just the good stuff.
Exactly. And it often carries a sense of urgency with it, too.
Yeah.
Like, we're wasting time. Let's get to the heart of the matter.
I like that.
Yeah.
Our sources say this idiom might come from the film industry.
Oh, interesting.
You can imagine a director shouting, "Cut to the chase scene."
Ah, I see.
They're literally telling the editor to skip ahead to the most exciting part.
Right. Straight to the action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you use cut to the chase,
Mm.
you're channeling that same energy.
Yes, being direct, efficient, and valuing everyone's time.
And it works in so many situations.
Oh, it does.
Like imagine a long, rambling meeting.
Yeah.
Someone could say, "Let's cut to the chase. What's the decision we need to make?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
It can bring focus and clarity
Right.
to any conversation.
Whether it's casual or high stakes.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let's move on to brush up on.
Okay, to brush up on.
A phrasal verb all about refreshing your knowledge or skills.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
I feel like there's always something I need to brush up on.
Uh-huh. I think we all feel that way.
Yeah.
It's part of the beauty of learning, an ongoing journey.
To brush up on has that sense of gentle improvement, doesn't it?
Yes, like you're polishing a skill you already have.
Like giving it a little shine.
Exactly.
Our examples include a musician brushing up on their scales.
Right.
Or a traveler brushing up on a language before a trip.
Yeah, it implies you already have some foundation there.
Mm-hmm.
You're just dusting off the cobwebs, so to speak.
I like that analogy.
You wouldn't say you're brushing up on something completely new.
Right.
You'd say you're learning it.
That's a really good point.
It's a subtle but important distinction.
Okay, so for a listener out there,
Yes.
think about the areas where you might need to brush up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's your public speaking skills
Could be.
or your knowledge of a particular subject.
Yeah, those are good examples.
It's all about maintaining and enhancing what you already know.
Right. Building on that existing foundation.
Okay, now for a word I find particularly intriguing, ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous.
It describes something that's everywhere you look.
Yes. Inescapable.
Like that song you hear on repeat
Yes.
in the store, on the radio, even in your dreams.
That's a good one.
Like it's just become part of the background noise of life.
Exactly.
Think about smartphones, social media, even coffee shops. They've become ubiquitous.
They really have.
Our sources talk about how technology has really fueled this ubiquity.
Absolutely. Things can spread so quickly now.
It's amazing.
It really is.
And the word itself has a cool origin story.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it comes from the Latin ubique,
Okay.
which literally means everywhere.
So the word carries its meaning right there in its roots.
It's like a little linguistic time capsule.
I like that.
So next time you notice something that's just everywhere, you can confidently use ubiquitous to describe it.
And you'll have a deeper appreciation for the concept, too.
All right, are you ready for our final round of words and phrases?
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
I'm feeling so much more confident in my English skills already.
I'm glad to hear that.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive into these hidden gems of the English language. It's amazing how many layers there are to unpack, even in words and phrases we use every day.
It really is.
So are you ready for our final set?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's start with an idiom
Okay.
that speaks to, I think, our inner organizer, to have all your ducks in a row.
Oh, to have all your ducks in a row.
Love that one. There's a sense of satisfaction in that phrase, isn't there?
Oh, there really is. It's like that feeling of being totally prepared,
Yeah.
organized, and ready for anything.
It's like when you pack for a trip and everything fits perfectly in your suitcase.
Yeah. No wasted space.
No last-minute scrambling.
You've got it all under control, Rick.
Exactly. Or imagine like a complex project at work.
Right.
Having all your ducks in a row means you've thought of everything.
You've anticipated the problems.
You've delegated tasks.
Everyone knows their role.
Yeah, it's a well-oiled machine.
Exactly.
Our sources suggest that this idiom might come from bowling.
Bowling.
Yeah, apparently lining up the pins was crucial for a successful game.
Oh, that makes sense.
So it highlights that importance of preparation.
Even in simple tasks.
So listener, think about how you can apply this in your own life.
Right.
Whether you're starting a new project,
Planning an event.
or just trying to get your daily routine in order. Remember the power of having all your ducks in a row. Okay, so now let's move on to a phrasal verb that I think embodies